Blog Talk Radio.
Which means it's Halloween, all manner of spookiness, and depending on where you live, it is the season of the witch and changing of the leaves. I was actually talking to someone this weekend who was like, I want to move to a place where my children can experience seasons, which I believe is code word for snow. I don't like it. Seasons.
It should be like Burger World.
I'll pass on seasons. Seasons bring snow. I don't like it very much. I like hot all year round. I could actually stand for it to be hotter. Texas, Arizona, that sort of thing. This is the Metal Hammer of Doom, and I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And we have a change of topics tonight. We were originally going to review the new Meshuggah album, which unfortunately for Robert Cooper, he was really looking forward to. But I'll bring him on in just a second. But we listened to it. I listened to it. Jesse listened to it. And we decided there wasn't a whole lot to say about it. However, Finnish shock rock band Lordi just put out a new album on September 16th. And it fits very well with our Halloween theme going on here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. So we thought, let's talk about that. So tonight we're going to review Lordi, Monstereophonic, Theaterror versus Demonarchy. Yeah, it's Halloween, so let's listen to some Finnish monster metal, shock rock Lordi. Yes, that's what I like. I actually discovered these guys through Pandora a couple of years ago. And the song that came on Pandora that just changed my life was Would You Love a Monster Man? And I have been in love with this band ever since. These guys are great. They sort of drift back and forth between metal and hard rock, depending on the theme of the album. But overall, they're really, really fun, very thematic. They fit in well with what we're doing here, so we're going to talk about them tonight. And why not bring up a band that's a little off the beaten highway, right? A little something most people have never heard of. So speaking of never heard of, here's my co-host, the man who said he'd much rather be talking about Meshuggah tonight, Mr. Robert Cooper. How do you do, sir?
That was before I got anal fisting. This album.
Oh no! Oh my!
Sigmund Freud would have a field day with this album. Like, there's a whole song. I thought it was like, what was it? Hold on, give me a second. Let me get that song title. Was it "Hug You Hard"? Yeah, Hug You Hard 4. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a song about giving hugs. And I read the lyrics, and I'm like, oh no, not stretching the room into a hallway. We go from voicemail to He-Man, but fucking God bless America. Well,
Superb.
this is German. Yes, but I was looking forward to Meshuggah just because my fucking pretentious ass loves stuff like that. But now that I've listened to this Lordi album, I'm just like, I can't wait to bring this one up on a date and be like, hey, when you hear a really rough, I'm going to play Hug You Hardcore along with one of my pawn shop finds for the week, Feel the Steel by Steel Panther. I'll play Community Property. Yeah, my best friend played that for his girlfriend at the time, Community Property, and he grabbed her hand, and she was like, oh, this is so wonderful. And then I went, and my God gets Community Property, and she let go of his hand and gave him a really dirty look.
Yeah, that's what happens. If you have a chance, go check out Monster Man by this band. It's an awesome song, very, very melodic, actually. Speaking of melodic, here's a guy who has no idea what a Lordi is and thought I was bringing on some gospel. This is Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
Check, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is going on, gentlemen? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
All right. Great. Yeah, what is a Lordi, I said yesterday. And then today, I'm like, holy shit, this is a Lordi. Some good stuff. I can't wait to talk about this album. Just to jump back to Meshuggah real quick, I mentioned the night before I started talking to you guys about it, which I guess that'd be Monday night, we did a podcast and had was Josh Calandros on. And I mentioned, we were doing plugs, and I mentioned, we're going to be covering Meshuggah. And, it's a podcast, but his ears perked right up. He was like, whoa, really? And Meshuggah is another band I never heard of, but he was laying some stuff on me about time signatures and all sorts of crazy shit with Meshuggah. So listening to the album, I could kind of see what he was talking about, but boy, you talk about some technical shit that probably went way over my head. So I can understand the love for Meshuggah because I guess they really get down on that technical level, but we talked about changing over to this. You talk about a personality, and especially just in time for Halloween. This is a great album.
I expect you to be blasting Lordi, not just this album, but the Lordi catalog when kids come on Halloween to trick-or-treat.
Yeah. I'll be blasting that, and then when the police show up, then we'll be talking about. We'll be figuring out what music I'll be listening to in the jail there.
We'll send the Radulich and Broadcasting lawyers to come bond you out.
They do not exist, ladies and gentlemen.
No, they do not. All right. Let's get into this. So, as I said before, Lordi is from Finland. This is their 8th studio album. As I said, released on September 16th, 2016. It does swing back and forth between hard rock and heavy metal. The first 6 songs or so are not related to each other in a thematic way. It's sort of all over the map. We talked a little bit already about the particularly raunchy Hug You Hardcore. By the way, just as an aside, Steel Panther has a new album next year. Expect to review it.
Oh, it's on.
I hope it has as good a track as She's on the Rag.
I hope so. Steel Panther can only go up from where they've been. But they have.
What in terms of smut?
The second half of the song of the album actually tells a story, which I listened to the album a couple of times, but you two are better at sort of piecing together the lyrical, thematical stuff. So when we get to it, I'm going to kind of turn it to you guys to break it all down. Band's named after Mr. Lordi. That's his name in the band. A lot of the songs were written by him and Tracy Lipp. And this album, I believe, was produced by Nino Lauren. Funny story about this real quick. So they released Hug You Hardcore as a single before they released the full album. And I had initially, I think this was like released in Europe before it was released in the United States. It was a really weird release schedule because it completely threw me off. I thought it was coming out one of the weeks that we were looking at another band. So I went to Apple Music to find it, and only Hug You Hardcore was available. So they had the whole album on there, but everything was grayed out except for Hug You Hardcore. So I'm like, all right, well, this I must have gotten the dates wrong, or the date was wrong on the Wikipedia site for Metal Albums 2016, which is where I usually pull the calendar from for the show. And I was like, all right, well, I guess they'll release it later, but I'll just listen to the single now. And this happened to be on a weekend when I was home with my kids. So my kids were up, my wife was up, and I tend to play music around the house when they're home anyway, and so they're used to my heavy metal nonsense. As long as I don't play it too loud, I don't get too many complaints. Because when Dad wants to put on the music, Dad puts on the music. However, I was expecting Would You Love the Monster Man? I'm expecting Lordi as I know them. I was not expecting anal fisting and Hug You Hardcore. My poor daughter, just kind of giving me a quizzical look, like, I don't get it. What's happening here? And what was happening is I was being a bad father.
Oh, man.
You were singing her brown-eyed girl all over again.
So I learned after that, make sure I listen to the shit before I play in front of my kids. Because I'll play mostly in front of them. But, a song about anal fucking, I probably need to draw it. Just saying. The more you know.
I think every kid needs. Oh no! I can't finish that sentence.
I would not complete that thought if I were you, sir.
That was not supposed to go there.
That's what she said.
And I was going to say, thus is the theme of Hug You Hardcore.
Hug You Hardcore.
All right. So let's get into this. We'll start with the first track on the thing is just like a voicemail, and it's fine. If you listen to the whole album, it's a fun little listen, but it's not worth playing on here when I can only play portions of tracks. So we're just going to get right into the music. And Jesse Starcher, I wish I had known that this song existed before you did your series on the mini He-Man comics, because I would have insisted you start each one of them up with this song.
Oh, it would have been there.
Let's Go Slaughter He-Man. As much as I would love to hear more of that song, we need to get going here. So, Let's Go Slaughter He-Man. I have a question for you, Jesse, since you're now the resident He-Man expert. In the cartoon,
I don't understand. I guess I am of these three. So
in the cartoon or the comic book, which you are now most recently familiar with, was there any one of Skeletor's minions that wasn't a complete retard? Because if I remember correctly, Beastman was terrible. Beastman was like the Bebop and Rocksteady of He-Man. And Clapjaw wasn't much better. Mossman was kind of, he was just like, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Mossman was a good guy. I found that out. I thought he was a bad guy myself until we did the podcast. I actually learned that he was a good guy.
What's the one that looks like the Abomination then? Like,
are you thinking of Merman?
Yeah, that's the one.
Merman.
Yeah, and Barnacle Boy?
SpongeBob reference. Was any of them okay? Well, let me just tell you, the cartoon and the comic are two different animals. The comics that came with the figures, I learned a lot when we did that podcast. Now, you say I'm the resident He-Man expert. I brought Ronnie Adams and Justin Thomas on that podcast, and they, at least quadruple my knowledge on the Masters of the Universe lore. But, man, you talk about, like, Trapjaw was a freaking cool-ass character in the comics. You think he's just this minion that, that Skeletor brought on. What happened is Skeletor ended up going over into a different dimension, and accidentally Trapjaw fell into this portal and came over to Eternia, and Trapjaw was a criminal over there. So regardless, if anybody's cool, and when it comes to the comics, I want to give Trapjaw the nod. Beastman is a complete douche. So as to why he wants to be Beastman, maybe he's thinking that, well, he's pretty much Skeletor's second in line. So if you're in love with Skeletor that much, then you want to serve with Skeletor and of course capture He-Man and kill the man, and of course, like they say in the song, put his head on a pike out in front of Castle Grayskull, and just have a good old time with old Tila, because she's apparently supposed to stay. But I love this song, man. I mean, you talk about, I didn't know what to expect with these guys. And if that isn't, obvious from what I said earlier, I don't know who these guys are. I don't think I've ever heard a song from them. You suggested the whole He-Man song. I think it was a few weeks back before we even made the decision to go with this album. And I hadn't even had a chance to listen to it until yesterday. So when they start out with the keyboards, and then I was like, that took me back to the 80s. And then at the end of this song, they actually use a pretty common sound effect from the cartoon, if I remember correctly. So it's a great tribute to what a dweeb of a character He-Man was, especially in a cartoon, man. I mean, gosh. But love the song. This is a fun song to start the album with.
Coop, what'd you think of it? Now, you didn't know much Lordi or any Lordi before I mentioned any of this, right? This one I actually was a surprise for you.
Well, no, I know of Lordi. Hard Rock Hallelujah was a song that I liked quite a bit. They've just never really been on my radar in terms of what they brought to the table. For me, they kind of had an interesting singer that has a charismatic voice and a nice gimmick, but I felt like musically they really weren't all that impressive. Now, listening to this album, I still feel like musically they're fine. They're passable. I think what really brings people to the table for this is, again, their singer. The lyrics are fun. They're a band with a lot of personality, very much, as you said, shock rock in nature.
Mm-hmm.
But going to He-Man, the only thing I really know about He-Man is that all the bad guys were absolute idiots. Four Non-Blondes did a song for it. Four Non-Blondes. Y'all get that reference, right?
I don't know. I know the Four Non-Blondes, but I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that song.
I have no idea what you're trying to convey.
Oh, the video where it's got He-Man doing hey yeah yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yes. Okay, that has been shared on my wall.
Yes. See, there you go.
I've never.
Was Four Non-Blondes.
You guys are gonna have to post this on the Radulich and broadcasting cycle. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I will find it.
Grandpa Radulich has not been on the internet for nearly as long as I have, I guess. Stinkor actually stunk.
Did he ever?
I think that's great. But beyond that, I don't have a whole ton of He-Man knowledge, so I think it's really cool that we get a song in tribute to He-Man. I love when bands just pull shit out of nowhere. Like, want a tribute to fucking He-Man? I'll give you your fucking tribute to He-Man.
It definitely has that anti-hero flavor to it, It's like, hey, He-Man is sort of this bastion of heroism, and then the whole song is, no, fuck that guy. We want to be the bad dude. So, this is sort of a take on that NWO kind of thing. Like, we want to be the bad guys, because the bad guys are always cooler. But there was not a single cool bad guy in He-Man that I ever remember. The chick wasn't too bad. The evil chick that was with Skeletor. Even Skeletor.
Evil Lynn.
Yeah, Evil Lynn. But, I mean, she was okay. She wasn't an idiot. She was a bit of a nag. And she was always like, you know, like Skeletor's plans would always, like, just fall to pieces. And she'd just sit there and rub it in. Like, oh, Skeletor, you dope. But, you know, and Skeletor, you know, like, first of all, real quick, because people are going to be like, what, are they ever going to go to this next song or just stop talking about fucking He-Man? So last point on this, but I mean, Skeletor was made to look scary, but he wasn't because he was such a clown. And if you need any more proof than that, just watch what they do with him on Robot Chicken. He was kind of like Cobra Commander in that sense. But the one character that they really did capture the essence of frightening, you know, and to this day I can remember the opening of Thundercats and hearing that Mum-Ra scream.
Oh yeah.
And really, it's one of the only times I've really seen like a really frightening, you know, 30-minute children's cartoon villain. And Mum-Ra's the only one. Mum-Ra, like, by a country mile. Just real quick on that, if you feel the same or differently, and then we'll go to the next song here.
Oh, Thundercats. I was going to say Thundercats. I watched a little bit of that. I know Mum-Ra. We're going to compare Mum-Ra to Skeletor. I'm going to probably give the nod to Mum-Ra here. I probably would myself, because Skeletor, I mean, just in the comics that we read, every issue was, I got to get into Castle Grayskull. Got to get into Castle Grayskull. I got to get into Castle Grayskull. And he's just an idiot and continues to do the same stuff over and over and over. So I'll gladly give the nod to Mum-Ra there.
Cool.
My experience with Thundercats very much is yelling Thundercats ho, noticing that a lot of furry porn was probably created based off of this show.
Chitara.
Oh, fucking furries. God, I hate furries. I had a friend of mine. His sister.
You want to hug him hardcore?
No, I do not want to fuck that furry fox-looking thing in the butt with my fist. Because quite frankly, that is not appetizing.
Oh, man.
But I actually had a friend of mine whose sister used to go to furry conventions in Atlanta. He goes, they're really nice people. I'm like, they just give me the heebie-jeebies. But, yeah, I've seen Mum-Ra. Mum-Ra looks scary. I mean, really, most of your 80s cartoon villains were a bunch of stooges or dumbasses.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with probably Megatron.
Yeah, okay. But Megatron wasn't scary. Megatron wasn't a clown either. The clown was Starscream.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like he's more like the dragon. If we're going with TV tropes here, he's just that guy that just fucking stabs Megatron in the back constantly. I think the rest of the Decepticons are a bunch of clowns, though. Like, seriously, you ever know Evil's really stupid most of the time?
Yeah, the trope with a lot of that era of cartoons was that the evil people, and really this hasn't gone away, because as you were talking about Skeletor, I'm going to play my dad card again. You were talking about Skeletor just doing the same thing every episode, and he was just all he wanted to do was get into Castle Grayskull. Like, he didn't really get beyond that. Mm-hmm. They're still doing that kind of villain, only with slight differences. The villain-ish character on Sophia the First, all he wants is the amulet of Avalor, or whatever the fuck it's called, that she wears and won't take off her neck. And it's like every episode is, if I have the amulet, I'll be king. And I think they actually gave it to him once, and it like cursed him. But it was like he's this wizard, and he's a shitty wizard, and and he gets every week, like, how am I going to get Sophia's amulet? And he never does. Anyway, all right. So we're going to shift over from He-Man and 80s cartoons to fisting. Here we go. Here's your single from the album Hug You Hardcore for all the lovers. I let it go a little longer than I should have, but I really wanted to get to the Hershey Highway line. So, and I want to say, as I was listening, like the first verse or so before the chorus, I was like, oh, my kids aren't picking up what they're putting down here. They're still a little too young. They're not getting it. When he was like, face down, ass up, I'm pretty sure my daughter looked right at me. That was weird shit. What did he say? And I'm like, oh god.
Oh, where's the remote?
You really have when a similar thing happened with Orange Is the New Black. I've told this story where she was on the iPad, I was watching it, and I was having her sit away from the screen, and she happened to turn around during a rape scene. I could daintily explain what was happening in a way that at the time I think 4-year-old would get, and at least on some level understand, enough that I could get out of the situation pretty unscathed. There's no good explanation for face down, ass up. There just isn't. I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse. I'm pretty sure if your daughter ever hears the phrase face down, ass up, you're going to be dumbfounded as to how to approach the subject.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to brush that one off. You're going to hope. Actually, here's what you do: you pretend it doesn't happen, which happens a lot here in this household. So just take it from me. You grab the remote, you hit next as immediately as possible.
Face down, ass up. Hey, who wants ice cream?
I want that on a mug. There is no way you can get out of face down, ass up.
All right. So that song is great. I mean, that's good for a laugh. It's got a really funny beat, and all of that. But let me go to you guys because you have the lyrics. So who wants to do the honors here?
Coop, please, man, please.
Do I get to sing them? Do I get to read them all? Or do you want me to just read the greatest hits?
I think we need to do greatest hits. For the purposes of time.
Ride the Hershey Highway. Take it for the monster truck. Face down, ass up, Batman. Here we come. Wish me luck. I don't know. I want to bring Bane out for that one. It fades into that. Let me find the one that I'm actually. I love the chorus. I want to rock you so, ramming up the exit door. I want to hug you hardcore, stretch your room into a hall till it's me who gets bored. 5 into 1, the dirty fingers where the show's done. It's ramming in her.
Oh, man. And at the end when they're going, dirty, dirty fingers, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. I mean, they cannot. This is it's disgusting. Oh, it's hilarious,
I hope they were dirty. I hope they weren't dirty before.
Well, they're definitely dirty now. I don't think it matters if they were before. They're dirty now.
So maybe they're going into. Maybe somebody spilled apple juice. You don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's. Let's see. I think honestly, this song kind of is repetitious. Most of their songs are repetitious, but the Hershey Highway line just gave me a massive chuckle. I didn't realize that the song was into. I was like, "Hug You Hardcore." I'm like, I could see this sending me sending this to a girl. As we kept going, I was like, if I do this, we're going to be on love line with Coop again. What you do, Coop? I was like, hey, baby, I want to do this to you. Fucking anal fisting.
Man.
Turn your room into a hall.
I think the next girl that you've got a thing for, you should make them a mix. Start it with this, and if they can get past it, that's the girl you marry.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's your Lord of the Rings, okay? If she can get past hug you hardcore and still wants to date you, you need to go ring shopping.
Actually, I don't know. This one's pretty bad. Dirty Gourd Horror by Autopsy's up there. The song about following the killer is the person pretty much giving the point of view, and it's talking about finding a girl in the woods, raping and killing her. You know, there's plenty of death metal. There's plenty of death metal to go around. The thing that I think makes this song truly grotesque is the fact that it's not a death growl. It's very audible.
I'll tell a story real quick and then play the next song. But I was in the car with someone over the weekend. I was in Chattanooga for a wedding, and the girls were with the bride doing bride stuff the day before the wedding. Me and my wife's friend's husband, who traveled up with us, we were tooling around Chattanooga going to see the sights, and we went to the aquarium, and we went and we rode the rails. But while I was driving around, because we drove up in the minivan, I was playing liquid metal on Sirius satellite radio, and he just kept asking. He's like, "Why do you listen to this stuff? You can't understand a word they're saying." I find that people who don't listen to heavy metal, that's their big complaint. Because my friend Paul was the same way. He was like, "You can't understand what they're saying." And if they knew half of the shit that these people were saying, they would change their opinion, or they would go, "Oh, I get it. Okay, it's fine. We don't need to hear about ripping out entrails and sacrificing one to a goat god or whatever." So I think I cut you off, Coop. So say your piece, and then we'll go to the next track.
I was actually about to do lyrics in my Batman voice, but I'll save that for later.
No, oh shit! I didn't realize I was interrupting Bane. By all means, Bane, continue.
Well, I was going to go for Batman in the next one, because I figured I just did one in Bane, so then I'd be like, yeah. Let's see, what are we going to do with this here? Actually, yeah. Alfred, let me melt you gently. What about this? Introducing Intruder Entry. You're going to like it. Yeah. I feel like this is a song, like when Batman really turns into the Drunk Knight, this is a song that he just really melds into.
Drunk Knight.
I haven't seen it, but Robot Chicken did a DC special where, like, in between sketches, Bane would just run behind Batman and break his back. I don't know. And it kept happening.
That is wonderful. And that complaint about people being like, "Oh, you can't understand the lyrics," that's bullshit. I mean, I guess I can see people complaining about that, but then you pull up a guy like, for example, there's a rapper named Twista. Like up there with like the fastest rappers you could find, and you can't understand a word he's saying because it's so goddamn fast. Mm-hmm. So, like, what's the difference? The fact that it's technically still done in a spoken voice? I think people are full of shit sometimes.
I agree. All right. So, speaking of full of shit, here comes track 4. This is Down with the Devil. mean, that's fine. It's not nearly there's not as much personality in that one as there was in the prior two. And so this is sort of so that's the thing. Like when you compare it to the first two songs, it doesn't rate. But by itself, it's fine. It's not great. It's not bad. It's average. It's listenable. It's fine. It's a what is the line on the wire? It's a 45-degree day.
Yeah, this song after the highlights that were He-Man and butt fucking. Not at the same time.
That's on the EP.
That's the EP. Yeah, this song is just there. It's not very impressive or memorable. It's kind of filler, to be honest. And with 14 tracks, we really don't need filler. I mean, I guess maybe this almost seems like two half albums they made into one, but yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I feel like they were going for a concept album, or they wanted to do, where they wanted to do like one half unrelated songs and another half kind of like the what's the band I'm thinking of? The progressive metal band that always does like very thematic albums and they all tell a story. Iced Earth.
Arion?
No, Iced Earth. That's what I was thinking of. Iced Earth, sir. They were going for like an Iced Earth thing, and that's fine. But I think you're right. I think I almost feel like they should have gone with 2 EPs or do a full album of one thing and then release, of Theaterror, and then release Demonarchy as something else. Release that as an EP or something. But yeah, it's just kind of meh. Jesse? Oh, for fuck's sake.
You were.
Nope, can't hear you, sir.
No, you are.
He's gonna dial back.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, due to an issue with Skype to host connections for premium members, you will need to direct connect or via telephone to host your show. So I don't know if Skype is also giving callers a problem as well. So who knows? But we'll go ahead and go on to the next song here. And if Jesse has anything interesting to say about the previous one, I'll give him that opportunity after we hear Mary is Dead. Every time I hear this song, I put Freddie in there, which, as we know, Freddie's Dead is a Fishbone song. All right, damn it, Starcher. Go ahead I'll let you lead off here. There is the previous song that we decided was meh, and now we're on Mary is Dead. Decidedly slower, but I think a more interesting song. What are your thoughts?
Number 4, Down with the Devil. I agree with your guys' sentiments. I think it's probably one of the weakest tracks on the album. The only thing I could think of, I don't know if he's like, if this is a song about like himself or someone in the band, whoever wrote the lyrics or something like that. Because, I mean, we rarely talk about the album covers when we talk these albums. And if you look at the album cover, my gosh, you talk about some scary looking dudes. Of course, you know, this is like Guar level stuff, scary stuff. So I don't know if their lifestyle matches what they portray on stage, but Down with the Devil, weakest track, man. I agree 100%. You mentioned about how.
Hang on, real quick interruption. I have to correct myself. I have to correct the record here. Freddie's Dead, actually by Curtis Mayfield, covered by Fishbone. Please continue.
All right. Okay. You guys mentioned about how it feels like it could be 2 EPs. I honestly think this is I think this is perfect, to be honest, to have, you know, half of it, you know, just not random songs, but I mean, songs that don't interact with each other. And then we have the story on the other side. Like I said, this would be perfect as a tape back in the day, man, where you could listen to these songs and then flip it over and you got the story on the other side. And they made it pretty much symmetrical here. We got, what did we say, 14 songs? And so I think we got seven random songs, and I imagine 7 other songs here at the end. So telling the other side of the story. Now, Mary's Dead. Mary is Dead. This is a freaky song, man. Not too many songs. Coop, you mentioned one about the somebody who got raped and killed in the woods. This is almost kind of it's up there, because it's the guy who commits the crime is the one singing, and it's freaky. It's all played slow, like it's almost a ballad kind of or a love song, and man, it's just weird. But Coop, what do you guys say?
Oh boy. Sorry, internet. This song here is, again, it's a slight bit repetitive, but I love that little twist there towards the middle, and it's like, you know, I'm helping look for her, but they're not going to find her because she's dead. I killed her. And I love that. Oh, you twisted little devil, you. So I did kind of wish we went into a little more detail or a follow-up or something, but I guess it's just a thought process.
It was me the whole time. Sorry, I had to get that out there.
Yeah, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. And the funny thing is, you're thinking of another song. I'm thinking of Hank is Dead by Red Fang, which is not about Hank at all. It's just called Hank is Dead.
So I want to say that guitar lick, maybe I had it in my head, and I may now be getting this wrong, but I feel like the guitar lick at the beginning of the song was right out of Clutch's Rock and Roll Outlaw.
Oh wow! I'd have to listen to it again.
You want me to play just the lick real quick?
Yeah, if you can, yeah, go for it. I'd like to see if I can make the connection.
Yeah, I want to make sure that if I'm remembering the right Clutch song, then maybe I got it wrong. But I definitely heard this in a Clutch song. So here we go. Just a real quick thing. I just want Jesse to hear the lick again.
Yes, I can hear that.
Okay, I'm right though. Rock and Roll Outlaw.
I don't know if it's that song. I'd have to swing to Spotify to check, but I recognize exactly what you're talking about being something that Clutch has played.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to track 6 here. This is Sick Flick. song is all about the chorus.
That right there goes as song number 1 or song number 2 on Coop's Love mixtape there.
Let me get this out, and then I will toss it over to you, because this is really all I have to say about this. That song is all about, for me, I know lyrically there's other stuff going on. I'm going to let you guys talk about that. But musically, for me, that just builds up to the chorus. And the chorus is so melodic and so fun. And there's that sharp change, because they've got they do the chorus and then they just kind of chant the name. And when they do that, they change the beat of the song real quick, and then they're back to back to the bridges and everything. And it's great. I like, this was a fun one for me. I like, musically, it may not be complex or interesting, but it dug into my ears. And I remember listening to this at work, and I remember, I didn't really tune into the song until I heard the chorus, because that chorus is like kind of like a roller coaster type deal, where it's it's just build, and then whoosh, you go down the opposite side, and that's kind of what the song is doing. It just goes bam, and it's very, I don't want to say bright, but it's very energetic and poppy.
Coop, sick flick, man. I'll let you take the lead on this one, man.
I hope that's a lot of hardcore hugging.
It definitely sounds like there's some going on here. At least, it may not be explicitly mentioned, but there is definitely some pretty extreme things being suggested. Such as, let's see here. Where's it at here? Baby, I want to know what's behind those eyes. Now that sounds nice at first, and then when you say, lady, what color are you deep down inside? Now we might be approaching things. It might be crossing the line, and then the next one is, maybe I'll find out when I jackhammer you. Boom. So, I was messaging you guys back and forth while I was listening to this album, because I was just so absolutely stunned, and I had to share it with somebody. But I said, I've got to Google sick flick, just because I wanted to make sure I understood what they were talking about.
Say search.
So I said to you guys, I don't know if I want to Google this, to be honest. I really don't want to. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm sure that Google's not going to throw up any explicit images, and I can figure out what I want to click on and what I don't. And you wouldn't believe what actually popped up. It was some kind of it was a gamer reference. I've never heard it used before in my entire life, but that was top search in Google. So if you Google sick flick, top search is not going to bring you to what I thought it would actually bring you to. Urban Dictionary describes it as some kind of a gamer thing where I couldn't even go into it. But my assumption is, Coop, who do you? I think he says in here, baby, it looks like you have a face for a sick flick. Is there chicks out there you're just like, okay, that chick wouldn't do a sick flick, but just looking at that girl, she would definitely do something like that.
I don't know. Let's see. Maybe she's got really skanky makeup, a black eye. Maybe she's got hair.
She's
definitely got a tramp stamp.
I can answer this for you.
I hope she doesn't have the tramp stamp on her face.
You never know. I've seen enough.
Facial tattoos are the word.
I can answer this for you guys, because before I left work yesterday, this was right as I was leaving. They call it Papa Tango, and basically it's the paddy wagon. So you have all these districts that are send out police, deputies, whatever. They arrest people and they bring them to the station and they hold them, or they bring them to the paddy wagon and they hold them, and then at the end of the day, about an hour before the end of shift, quote unquote Papa Tango brings the paddy wagon to central booking. And yesterday, it was an odd thing, because I actually thought they were being transported from a women's prison. That's good. We don't normally get a half a dozen women all at once. But I'm doing something, and I happen to notice that there's just a row of women, all in handcuffs, waiting to be processed, and a lot of them are wearing very suggestive clothing. Some of them not so much, but a few of them were, and there was definitely some of them in makeup. One of them looked like she had both of her eyes punched in, and I'm just like, did we get a transport from one of the local prisons? Is that what this is? And they're like, no, prostitution sting.
Oh, wow.
And so for the last like half an hour that I was at work, we were dealing with a bunch of cranky, angry prostitutes. Tampa's finest, baby. And they would all do a sick flick. And all you would have to do is
got to pay that money.
But I'll tell you what, if you had offered to give them a bologna sandwich, which is what they were all asking for when I was leaving, they'd have easily done a sick flick. Apparently they hadn't been.
To be fair, they probably have a bologna sandwich of their own because they've already done a sick flick.
Oh, goodness.
Andrew Dice Clay, everybody.
Dude, you would not believe how many people that work in my store do not know who Andrew Dice Clay is.
Oh, I wouldn't believe it, and that makes me sad. He was just on something. It's not like he had this career that like imploded and then no one ever saw him again. He's done stuff. He's got a special that was on Showtime where like he like emceed for some younger comics, but he was also this was I think earlier this year or late last year. He was on the show Vinyl. I mean, he didn't make it past I think episode 2 or 3, but he was on it, and his death is a focal point of that season, which has been canceled by the way. No more Vinyl. All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was going to say that I equate Andrew Dice Clay because I was explaining to one of my classmates, the cute one that has no interest in me whatsoever. I was trying to explain to her who Andrew Dice Clay was, and I compared him a lot to Dane Cook. Would you say it's kind of a fair sort of comparison?
Not even close.
Okay. Well, the reason I compared him to Dane Cook is because in my mind, both of those comedians are very much kind of products of their time and caught this certain zeitgeist around them that got them really big. And they, did some stuff, made some fame, and now nobody remembers who they are.
I don't know. Is there a modern comic right now that their act is persona? Because I can't think of any. Everyone, for me, I feel like every comic that's out right now, their act is merely observational comedy of some kind. Either they're storytellers or they're making jokes about current events or their own life. The Family Guy type comics. Like the one that either if he's not talking about his kid, he's talking about food. It's the one that keeps doing like the different voices. The pale guy.
Gaffigan?
Yeah, Gaffigan. I feel like I don't think there's anybody out there doing a persona, but that was Dice's gimmick. And whatever his real name is, when he was on stage and he was doing the Andrew Dice Clay bit, that whole thing was an act. Mm-hmm. He was playing a character. So I don't know if there is a modern comparison. I don't know how well you guys know stand-up comedy these days. Any thoughts?
I know Kevin Hart is very short, and he screams a lot.
That's a physical thing, and yes, he's another observational comic.
I'm just saying he's the big thing right now.
Okay, yeah. So, Andy Kaufman, we miss you. Real quick, Jesse, any last words, or if not, I'm going to go on to the next thing.
No, let's go ahead and go to the next song, man.
All right, here we go. This is None for One. This is the last song on the Theaterror part of the album.
I'd rather to go to the theater that night.
the chorus, but not nearly as fun. I mean, it's fine. Like I said, the chorus is the best part. Your thoughts, guys?
Coop, go ahead, man. Coop?
We lost them. You go.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that this is a outstanding song to end this first half of the album. While it does not compare to Hug You Hardcore when it comes to hilarity, nor does it compare with, I want to slaughter He-Man. Let's go slaughter He-Man. This is... Mark, have you ever seen Creepshow?
I know of it. That's the skeleton that talks to you and makes terrible jokes.
You're thinking probably of Tales from the Crypt, but if you look at the cover art for Creepshow, it has something similar to what you're thinking of, where it's got a skeleton in the theater, he's turning around back. But anyway, the format of that movie. How about Four Rooms? Do you remember Four Rooms from Quentin Tarantino?
Oh yeah, no. Okay. You're talking about a movie that's got like skits in it and shit. Exactly. Creepshow is something similar to that. Came out in '82, and they tell these short stories, and had these stars throughout the movie. So this first half of the album kind of reminds me of a Creepshow type of vibe, where we get all these different little stories at the beginning of things, and now we're about to get into the part where the meat of what you came to watch is going to start. But regardless, None for One is a tremendous story when you look at the lyrics. This is about a brother and a sister who killed their father, and the brother tells the police that it was the sister and she was crazy, and she gets locked up. Okay, so she's in the hospital / prison, psych ward, whatever. And so she's in there while her brother is like running free, and her brother starts cutting all the ties to her, to where she's just all alone. Her mom won't. I don't even think her mom will come to see her. When she does, she blames the kid. So at the end of the song, the sister makes a call to her brother and says, "Hey, guess what? I'm coming for you now." So it's a great song because it really kind of puts that psychotic vibe. I think they used they say a blade. It makes me think of an axe, but I think they either a machete or something to which they killed their father. And so she calls him up and says, "Guess what? The blade's coming for you now." And that's kind of where we leave it. So it's a fun story to end this first half of the album, in my opinion. All right, Coop, missed you there for a moment. Your thoughts here on the first half of this album and this last track here, None for One.
This song here was interesting. See, I wasn't sure what the brother was up to. I wasn't sure maybe he was trying to do something creepy and she tried to defend herself. I don't know.
The brother or the dad? Because the dad is the one that got killed, right?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, the dad gets killed, and the brother tells the police it was the sister that did it. But at the beginning, he's like, come on down here. There won't be anything to fear after this. So it kind of makes me think that maybe the dad was doing something creepy with the kids, and the brother's like, okay, hey, look, let's go ahead and we'll take care of this. Here's this nice shiny axe. And in the basement, they kill the dad, but the brother gets away free.
Because I thought it was, I don't know, I thought they left the part with Dad. Okay, see, I read it as Dad was just a witness to it.
Okay.
Well,
I'll have to reread it. I could be wrong, but
I think you're right because the dad isn't brought up again.
Yeah.
So I think you're correct. But as for the first part of this album, I really liked this. It was a lot of fun, even though like Sick Flick and Down with the Devil. Okay. Oh, actually, Sick Flick. No, that one's a little more special than Down with the Devil was. But
agreed.
You get a lot of kind of fun lyrics, some real memorable stuff, some quotable stuff. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth listening to. It is worth sending your friends some of this shit, just watching them squirm.
All right, so we're going to play track 8 here, and this is SCG 8. This is the opening scene. So this whole next bit here tracks 8 through 14 are a story. And each of these songs, this is like the Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. Each of these songs tells you another part of the story here, which I did absolutely no research on. So,
oh man, I can't wait. I couldn't wait to get to this part of the album because this is the fucking meat of this album. This is where it all comes together for me.
All right, so let's hear a little bit of the opening score, and then I'm immediately going to start the next track, which is Demonarchy. Okay, so we're going to go opening, little smidgen of opening scene, and then right into Demonarchy, and then we'll chat a bit. All right, here we go. That sounds like a really fun one to listen to in concert. And if I remember correctly, Lordi is actually coming to Tampa. I'm going to look it up real quick. All right, you've been dying to talk about this. Go.
Oh, man. Okay. So what we're about to hear is just basically, throughout these songs, is just one night. Okay? It actually starts at night and it goes to morning. So we've got 4 characters that are pretty much the main characters of this story. A vampire, or Count Dracula, or Nosferatu, who is mentioned a lot in here. A witch, a she-wolf, and a zombie. All right? So this particular song right here pretty much sets up their meeting that night. And they're going to get together, and it's not like they're having a party, okay? Because things aren't. I don't know if it's in this particular song. I think all this song is just it's just kind of an introduction to who the characters are, what the setting is. They're out in the middle of this, kind of like out in the middle of the woods in this the witch's cabin, and the zombie, by the way, is the witch's son. Okay, that's important because we find out a little bit more here as we go about the relationship of each one of these characters with each other. So they're coming together to discuss they're the Demonarchy. Okay, a monarchy is somebody that rules over the people, Well, this is the Demonarchy. These guys are the big bads. This really puts me in a Monster Squad vibe. I mean, just something similar to that. So there you go. That's kind of what this song does. Just sets up our characters, tells you who they're talking about. And as we go further, we delve deeper into each character with each song as we go. So, but yeah, pretty much just setting the set, kind of giving you an idea what the setting is and kind of why they're there.
All right, Coop, you want to weigh in here?
Yeah, I got a Monster Squad vibe here too.
All right.
I was like, oh, we got all these different mixes of people here.
Wolfman does not have nards, by the way, in this particular part of the album.
No, the Wolfman has lady nards.
That's right.
Thanks for clarifying.
Chesticles. Yeah, well, chesticles. I was going to say ovaries, but close enough. Chesticles. That reminds me of an episode of MXC. You remember MXC, right?
Oh, yes. Love MXC.
The show was amazing. Yeah, guy like
hey, douche.
Yeah, guy like douche was grossing one of the female contestants. He's like, oh, not my lady berries. I was like, I love you, gay like douche. Anywho, God, that show. I need to go watch. I think a lot of that show's on YouTube now, and we totally just need to go. We need to marathon that.
Hulu's got it, because I watched it seriously probably about 3 or 4 months ago, just to see if the kids liked it. So.
It's great. It's like the Japanese America's Funniest Home Videos, because everybody gets hit in the balls.
So fun.
But yeah, this song here gave me real Monster Squad vibes. I like how within all these songs, it's just almost like an escalating atmosphere. Like people keep doing things, just keep making things worse, and then shit goes down, and it just kind of builds. It's really what?
When the shit goes down, you better be
ready. When the shit goes down,
go down.
Oh, white people. But yeah, it's overall it's a pretty fun song. Like I said, these songs will start building up to a very interesting climax, and to be quite frank, I kind of wish they would have done 2 separate albums here. I think they had enough material. Well, maybe if they would have added a little bit to both, but yeah.
So I haven't been paying a tremendous amount of attention to the lyrics. You know, what I pick up and I comment on, but you know me, that's not really what I tune into. I like the overall sound of songs, and you know, they abandoned the hard rock here for the straight up metal.
Hell yes.
We have some good double bass drumming here, really powerful song, good stuff. A welcome change after. I mean, look, I like hard rock, and there were some great hard rock songs there before, but the album needed a little bit more balls to it. It needed balls, Jesse Starcher.
Balls, I
balls. And so the balls pick up here with Demonarchy.
Agreed.
So, real quick, Lordi will be at the Orpheum in Ybor City on Tuesday, February 28th. They'll be in Atlanta before that. Okay, so you people live in Ohio and North Carolina. So we've got, I'm going backwards here. Texas, Florida, Georgia, Baltimore, Clifton Park, New York, Toronto, Worcester, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Clifton Park again, with August Burns Red and Protest the Hero. Cleveland, Ohio. How far are you from Cleveland?
3 hours.
All right, well, make plans. This is Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. It's Lordi with Overkill and Nile at the Agora Theater and Ballroom.
How many? I'm just curious how many dates they've got. They got a lot of dates on this tour?
I can count that up for you in just a second.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, if it looks like a lot, it's a lot. I mean, like when Scar Symmetry got over here, they did 13 days, and that was it, and they were back across the sea. So, I mean, if Lordi is Finnish, I mean, they must be making a good tour if it's a lot of dates.
Well, they're for the last part of the year here, they're going to be in Europe, which makes sense. And then they're coming over starting February 6th, starting out in California, Santa Cruz to be exact. And their tour goes all the way to March 4th. so about a month.
Okay. Not bad.
And no North Carolina dates, but I think we all need to insist that Jesse go to this Wednesday, February 15th show, because Overkill and Nile are going to be there. That's a fucking awesome show, dude.
I don't know Nile.
So
I've heard of Overkill, I think.
Oh,
I
fucking
think.
Nile or Egyptian-themed death metal.
Interesting. I'll put it on the back burner. I'll give it some thought. I'll be the MHOD correspondent. And see if maybe I get a press pass. See if you can get the lawyers on that. Okay,
sure. We'll start working on it. All right. Turn my own joke against me. All right. This is The Unholy Gathering. Great song. They've got the. It's funny. You were talking about privately. You would describe, Jesse, that this feels like Meatloaf's Nightmare, and I got a very, very hardcore like Meatloaf vibe from that. And what initially like triggered that thought was, as I was listening to it, I'm like, this fits right in with like a more metal version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which of course features Meatloaf. So that's where I went to in my mind. But that was very like rock opera-ish.
Yeah. That's who I immediately thought of when I started listening to this. I was like, I think of Meatloaf. I think of the power metal, power ballad, storytelling stuff that he does, and that's where I was like, man, this is similar to that, but man, these guys take it to a scary level. When I say scary, I'm saying actual a horror filled level. And I should go ahead and make a disclaimer here that we have the capability. Let's say the capability. We have the opportunity to play a bit of these songs, which is great. I love it. But these songs that we play change so much throughout this album that you were just getting ready to get to a part in the song where it actually gets pretty heavy and almost like the song changes to a different tone and gets heavier and then it switches back, which is, it's tremendous to listen to, and it fits with the story very well. Now, as for the song itself, again, I was talking about how these people are in this cabin at night, and they're going to hash out these issues. And that's actually used. That term is used. They're going because each one of these people have problems with the other. The she-wolf has a problem with the witch has a problem with the she-wolf, and so they're going to sit down and they're going to try and discuss what's going, how can they get through this and move on to being, to being friends, I guess. I don't know. But
I know this is not your intent, but I feel like you're pitching me the real world Transylvania. What happens when you take 7 monsters and put them in a house and they stop being polite and start getting real?
That's the truth. It almost feels like that. The Dracula or Nosferatu is the leader in this particular in this story of these people, but they've got to sit down and they've got to try and work through these issues. So yeah, you're pretty much right. What I love is at the end is there's this kid that comes walking through the woods and he's looking for his sister, and his sister's name is Lizzie, and that's kind of where we leave the end of the song. The kid just kind of walks off the woods near the cabin, and he's yelling for his sister, who apparently has just wandered off into the woods, and he can't find her. I mean, some of the lyrics here, like the wolf's biding her time, the witch sharpens her knife. Shit's about to go down. It's not like this is just a friendly dinner. They're preparing for these people are preparing for the worst to happen. I mean, we're talking about Dracula and the she-wolf and all this stuff. So they're not known for having the greatest temperaments. Coop, I've gone on long enough.
Well, this song is really, really timely, actually. Talking about blood-sucking vampires, she-wolves.
Oh no! Is this going to be?
I know where you're going with this. Please don't.
In fact, we have a debate tonight.
Oh no! The final debate.
It's the final countdown. Bing bong. Bing bing bong.
I've already voted. I don't care anymore. I mean, granted, I'm also doing the show instead of watching the debate, but I wouldn't have watched it anyway. I've already voted. I've casted my vote.
God,
nothing will change. You can't track that shit down, Mark, and go, I've changed my mind.
Nope. I made a commitment. My wife and I voted by absentee ballot together because I'm not standing in no fucking lines. And we decided, we were kind of sharing ideas and what we were going to do, and we made a commitment, and we stuck with it. And it's nobody's business what we voted. So there.
Yeah, see, I am registered independent, so I've been getting the fucking junk mail for both parties. And then on TV, I get, all the commercials for both parties. And then when I'm watching shit on, Crunchyroll, I get shit for both,
Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll, the anime, it's the anime streaming service.
There's no corner safe from this shit. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm wondering, though. I wonder if those ads must target things based off of internet search history or something, because when I'm at one friend's house, his family is incredibly conservative, and all we're getting is pro-Trump stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, 5 minutes down the road, my buddy's fairly liberal, mostly Hillary for America.
So let me weigh in on that real quick. So I watch a lot of Hulu, and since I've been watching The Flash, and since Supergirl moved to the CW, I downloaded for Apple TV the CW app. And I've been watching a lot of stuff either through Hulu or through individual apps. And yes, those commercials are very targeted, but in a weird way, because I'm registered as a Republican, so because Florida has closed primaries, which means you have to register for in the party you have to register for the party that you're voting in the primary. In other words, I can only vote in the Republican primary. Or if I was registered as a Democrat, I could only vote in the Democrat primary. And at one point I was independent and couldn't vote in any primaries. So since I take primary voting pretty seriously, I had to pick one, and I was closest to Republican than I was Democrat for reasons I'm not getting into on this show. So I made a commitment, and I chose a party. When I'm watching Hulu, I have now seen this one Hillary commercial at least 3 dozen times. Yeah, I never, it's all anti-Trump on Hulu. It's all pro-Hillary. And I don't know if that's me or that's because she just bought up all this time on Hulu.
I've got Spanish Home Depot ads, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. I'm not fucking kidding either, dude. Seriously, that's what I get. The shit's in Spanish.
Hey, you know what's funny? I get a bunch of Lowe's ads. Who'd have thought it?
All right, this is track 11, Heaven Sends Hell on Earth. Sounds like a White Zombie King Diamond mashup.
Oh.
By the way, I've been getting a White Zombie feel almost the entire like Demonarchy side. Like good White Zombie though, not everyone's fucking in a UFO, not that shit.
Oh man, this song starts out so strong. I mean, well, I make it sound like it dives off, but it doesn't. I mean, it kind of slows down to tell a little bit of the story, and then all of a sudden it's like, fuck it, and then we just fucking go right back into it. And this song right here was probably top. At least the top one after like the first two listens. Okay, it was heavy as shit. It told a great story. Let me tell you a little bit about the story here. If you couldn't tell, this is about the She-Wolf, and of course she is in heat apparently. And guess who she's in love with, Mark Radulich?
The Beastman?
Not the Beastman. Nosferatu, the man that's sitting there right at the table. She's in love with him, but guess what? He won't pay attention to her. As a matter of fact, she says, I cut myself and bleed for him just to get him to look at me. And that, you know, it's all for naught, okay? Now, there's another little bit of a part of the story here that takes you to an idea of what's going on with the witch who sits across the table, whose son is a zombie. Okay? She says that she hates the vampire. And the reason she hates the vampire is because her son ended up getting gravely injured to where he died. And she tried to talk to the Nosferatu and say, look, bite him and save him. Okay, he's about to die. Please save him and turn him into a vampire so he doesn't die. He wouldn't do it apparently. So she casts a spell in order to try and keep her son from dying, which turns him into a fucking zombie. All right, so that's kind of pretty much the big tension here that we got between the two. You know, we got the She-Wolf who's in love with the vampire, the witch who hates the vampire. So why, what exactly could be left to tell? And we've got a couple more characters to go through here as we go through these next few songs. But I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else that, other than this, is just pretty much a song about how much the She-Wolf loves the vampire. So and she hates the zombie, by the way. She can't stand the zombie. Apparently, it makes her turn her nose. It assaults her senses the way that he smells. Believe it or not.
Good deal. All right. Anything else, Coop?
Sounds like somebody needs to be on Love Line with Coop.
So I just made another discovery for a future cover show. Apparently, Shaman's Harvest does a cover of Michael Jackson's "Dirty Diana."
Wow, it's been a while since I heard that song.
Now, here's a bit of trivia for you. Shaman's Harvest did a former WWE wrestler's theme. Does anyone know what it was?
Shaman's Harvest. I do not. Coop?
I got nothing.
Drew McIntyre.
Dude, that song was awesome.
Oh
That's
my.
part of his gimmick, bar none.
There's an acoustic version of Country as Fuck.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to have to give that a listen later. Yeah, I've all of a sudden gotten big into Shaman's Harvest.
Is there an extreme echo here? Is it just me?
I think it's on Mark's in there.
I don't know. I don't hear an echo. I'm not hearing you guys echo. I don't know if it's a Blog Talk Radio thing or not. Let's just try to deal with it. It's a common.
I'm ready to move on, man.
It is a common thing on this show for there all of a sudden to be a horrible echo. All right. This is, and the zombie says that everyone's fucking in a UFO. song kicks some ass. What does the zombie say? What does the zombie say?
As a matter of fact, I think he does like grumble a couple of times when they say, and the zombie says he's like, "Rawr." Yeah, he doesn't say a whole lot. It's not going to find that on any Speak and Spell or what was that thing called where you pulled the string? Was it? It wasn't Speak and Spell.
Oh,
shit! Can't remember what it was called.
The fucking animal noise.
Exactly.
Thingy. You fucking pull it and it's like, and the cow says, "Hi, I'm Rosie O'Donnell."
And the zombie says, "Oh, nice one, Coop. Nice."
Right. She's relevant for the first time in about 10 years. And you know what? We should never let anybody forget that time WWE had Rosie O'Donnell versus Donald Trump.
See, I had forgotten about it, so fuck you.
Dude, that was the worst goddamn wrestling match I had ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Don't know why you're bringing it up. It's bad memories.
Because I love to bring up things in wrestling that were bad. Like, for example, went and saw the Blair Witch Project, or the Blair Witch, or whatever the fuck. So I do that, and then I text my best buddy, this wasn't as good as the Blonde Bitch Project. And it was like, what's that? I'm like, you've never heard of the Blonde Bitch Project? It was WWE's attempt at recreating it for a week and then realizing it was a bad idea.
Oh, wow.
You've never heard of the Blonde Bitch Project?
I mean, I've heard of different pornos that were based on the Blair Witch Project, and like the blonde.
That certainly sounds like one.
The Blonde Bimbo Project.
Yeah. Yeah. This song here again. This is like a soap opera. Like it really is. Like you get to see within these 6 songs, you get the the fucking Blonde Bitch Project. You get to kind of see the relationships that these horror movie icons have with one another, kind of some of their the beefs or the child pies or the garlic lacing that is inside those child pies, which I thought that was hilarious, by the way. And it's like, oh, you bitch, you put fucking garlic in this. Like I go back to that scene from A Bug's Life. Where the snail gets the poo-poo platter and somebody puts salt in it.
Oh, no.
All right. Do you remember that?
Bug's Life. Nasty.
You know what's even better? Like, apparently, I haven't seen Ants in a very long time, but according to a lot of people, it holds up a lot better than A Bug's Life.
Yeah, it's a fun story. Interesting choice of actors in that one. Sylvester Stallone plays the big tough ant, and I think it's like Woody Allen who plays the hero of the thing. I mean, it's fine. I've seen them both. I couldn't really speak which one holds up better, but I know they both kind of came out around the same time, and like I said, it's fine. I don't have a major problem with it one way or the other.
Yeah, I think the reason why Bug's Life might be a little better remembered because it was prettier.
Yeah, it really was. Ants is kind of like there's not a whole lot of color going on.
It's very drab, but it's realistic at the same time.
Sure. All right, let's move on here. I'm going to listen to a band called Monster Truck based on the fact that I like the band Crowbot. Just thought you should all know that. All right. Where are we? All right. We are 2 tracks away from being all the way through this. This is But Brigadon Brigadon. that one.
Oh, fuck yes, man.
A good one.
Oh, dude. I mean, Coop was talking about how this becomes a climax. This is the climax of this story. And this song is perfect. Perfect for what the shit that just goes down here. Okay. We were talking about, we've kind of brought up the story here to where this last song, we found out that the witch poisoned the dinner, which happened to be the little sister of the boy that's looking that the kid's looking for. So she poisoned it with garlic, and of course it's fucking on now. So Dracula's attacking the witch. Once he bites the witch, her own son, her own flesh and blood, her own zombie son, smells the blood and then proceeds to eat his mom. Okay? And so she's dead. And as we find, throughout this song, this is such a great song because all the stuff that happens in it. As all this is going on, guess what? Just like in a classic horror movie, here comes the mob from town that know that the shit's going down at the hut, and they're coming to put an end to all this. So as all this is going on inside the house, Dracula's like, or Nosferatu, I keep calling him Dracula, busts open the door and stands there in front of the mob, and he's like, okay, let's bring it. So all the people, he starts attacking people, the wolf starts attacking people, and then all of a sudden out in the middle of nowhere, Nosferatu decides to go after the she-wolf. And they end up fighting in the house, and while they're fighting in the house, she gets stabbed with a silver knife. And, hey, remember the kid's sister? He's watched this all go down. So while Nosferatu is attacking the she-wolf, he comes up behind him with a stake and kills the vampire. So at the end of all this, all the monsters are pretty much dead, including all the townspeople. They all got mauled at the same time. And that's where we leave. As dawn breaks, it's nothing but dead bodies everywhere, and the only person that's left alive is Billy, the kid looking for his sister. So it's this story, dude. I'm telling you what, Mark Radulich, source material.
All right. Coop, what you got for me?
Well, damn, he's taking my shtick of overanalyzing everything. Jeez. Actually, I don't. Yeah, that's fine. I've had a day, so I need some laughs. God damn it. This song here, this song is pretty much like the shootout in the OK Corral. Like, everybody fucking shows up, starts shooting each other. It's crazy, like just carnage everywhere. And it's interesting to see how all this kind of played out and broke down the way it did. In fact, actually, good little analogy for us. This is the equivalent of the end of a 6-man tag match, wouldn't you say?
Bodies are strewn everywhere.
Yeah. Fuck on, he must be broken in half. Stop the damn match. Like, it's just like everybody's hitting their moves and beating the shit out of each other, and there's shit everywhere.
Getting their shit in.
Yeah, that's right. They got to get all the big moves in, get the big move buffet.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that. Like, at the end of the day, the only one that's alive is Billy.
Well, a caveat to
Billy.
that.
He absolutely sucks.
It would be great if his name would have been Bimmy. I would have gave them so much more credit. But nobody gets the Bimmy reference. Nobody gets the Bimmy reference. Bimmy, Jimmy and Bimmy. All right. So anyway, at the end of the song, there's one little thing that they slide in there, which makes this next song that much more important, and that's 4 words. And the zombie says, "Night the monsters died," which is just, oh man, it's great. It's a great way they did this story.
All right. Let's move on to our last track here. This is The Night the Monsters Died. I'm going to play a little more than I've been. We got a little bit of time left, but I do want to end on time. So here we go. that's a pretty powerful way to end this whole thing. I think it's a great track. I'm going to go ahead and give my final thoughts on the album. Looking for something that sort of represents the holiday season, that being Halloween, Season of the Witch. Just, all things scary and spooky and fun like that. I think we really couldn't have picked a better album than this to do.
Oh, no way. Yeah, this is tremendous.
This was really, thematically perfect. And it was a fun album. I mean, look, Lordi's not going to win any awards for masterful musicianship, but they're all, but it's a competent band, and they put together some fun songs, certainly some memorable ones. I mean, Let's Go Slaughter He-Man is definitely in competition with, it's definitely up there for consideration of my top 3 for the year, so it's certainly memorable. I'm going to give this a solid A. I think they did a great job with it. I would recommend this to other people. I don't think this, outside of Hug You Hardcore, I don't think there's anything on this that's particularly, offensive. So, good effort by our Finnish friends in the shock rock genre.
Agreed. Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to tie this story together, so if anybody doesn't want spoilers, which is kind of strange, I've listened to this album 5 or 6 times, so, I mean, we're talking about some songs here, but the end of this story is just great because it's this whole song has this, I don't know, this whole victory feel. Hey, evil is banished, good is triumphed, until right where Mark cut it off, right before, which is fine. It's a perfect place to cut it off because now the fact that the zombie kid bit the mom, he also, in the last song, bit the vampire and the she-wolf, too. So at the end of this song, Billy's standing there thinking everything is good to go, and then they all start waking up, but they're all zombies now. So it's just a great way to end it. You're thinking everything's all right, and then, nope, I'm afraid not. That's not the case. Really, do I have to give my final thoughts on this? I was so excited to talk about. You guys can't tell I wasn't excited about talking to. Lordi has come into my life, and it has changed things for me because this is an album. These are some guys I will absolutely be checking out in the future. So, I'm going to give this a thumbs way up. Easy grade for me. I will listen to this probably for the next, 2 or 3 months. Christmas time might come around. Throw on some Lordi. I'm very pleased.
I'll go send you the link to that now. I'll share it for you on Spotify. But Would You Love a Monster Man? That's the first thing you should go check out.
All right, good deal. I appreciate it, man. This was a fun time. I hate that we shoved Meshuggah to the side, but I think this is definitely the way to go for sure for this week. Coop.
The night the monsters died.
Beautiful.
Now they're singing, bye, bye there, bitch Billy boy. You were looking for your sister, now she's just now a pie. You better run from the Dracula guy, 'cause he's now a zombie and you're now fucked. And you're going to be in a pie.
Oh,
there you go.
That's wonderful.
I'll be here all week. Thank you. I had another one written out in my head that rhymed a little better, but I just wanted to get call Billy a little bitch and then reference pies.
Alrighty.
Hey, we've still never gotten karaoke night in the Radulich Broadcasting household. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Hey, we had ample opportunity when Do You Want to Build a Snowman came out, but no, we just decided to each do it on our podcast every fucking week for 2 months until Sean Comer started getting fucking war flashbacks from it.
Alrighty.
Anywho, this album, this was a good surprise for me. Wasn't really expecting much from it. Came out from it fucking chuckling like the immature fucking fuck that I am. If I were to give it a grade, solid 7.5. Not bad. 7.5. 7.5 out of 10.
Go 8. Come on, Coop. Go 8.
Don't tell me. I'll drop it to 7. I'm kidding.
Jeez.
I know. About a 7.5. Which actually, now that I think about it, that puts it in the 3/4 score. Never mind. I give it an 8. Yeah, because I started thinking about it. And you know what drives me crazy when wrestling reviewers give things like 4 3/4 stars? I'm like, shut the fuck up. That was 5 stars. Either make it 4.5 or 5. Don't give me that half-ass bullshit. Anywho, yeah, I would give this album really blew away my expectations. Granted, there are some songs here that are filler or just don't quite get it done in terms of a real presentation, but at the end of the day, this album and this band is very much about just having a good time. We have songs about He-Man, we have songs about anal fisting, making dirty German porno, and then the Monster Squad explodes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. This album is just a macabre treat. Quite frankly, there is at least one song on this for somebody with a really black sense of humor. So yeah, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 stars. Give it a B. There you go. Thumbs up. I'll do all of them.
Nice.
All right. So we hit something a little on the obscure side. I don't know how many people are into the old Finnish metal, but next week we return to something. Maybe you've heard of this band. They're called Korn, spelled with a K. It's about doo-doo. We will be... Yes, it's true. You hear them talk about how they got their band name? It's pretty gross. Ow, stupid cat. Okay.
I don't remember drinking any corn today.
All right, so this Friday, Korn, The Serenity of Suffering, comes out, unless it's changed and no one told me. We'll be reviewing it Wednesday, a week from tonight, on the 26th, unless I get a call from Cooper saying I gotta work. So now tomorrow, Long Road to Ruin has been off for the month of September and nearly the entire month of October. We're going to take the next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow, to look at the Hannibal Lecter series. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the good ones, well, the one good one, Silence of the Lambs, and then we're going to talk about Hannibal. And Robert Winfrey is going to be on the show. So you're going to hear a lot of me going, all right, Robert, just take over the conversation, because he's the Hannibal Lecter expert. And as much as I like Silence of the Lambs, there's not a whole lot to say about it. However, Hannibal just sucked a lot of dick. It was pretty bad. Now, the following week, on the 27th, and I've never seen either one of these movies, so I will be watching them at some point in the next couple of days in preparation for this. We will be doing Hannibal Lecter Part 2, which will be Red Dragon and Hannibal Rising. And I've heard Hannibal Rising sucks even more dick than Hannibal. So, that's fun. As far as what's coming up here on the Metal Hammer of Doom. Speaking of which, November 1st, Dan Hollywood is back. We will be reviewing the third of the Dan Brown books, I believe, called Inferno. This is the... oh, gosh. No relation to the absolutely wonderful 1980 Dario Argento horror film. No, zero. Oh God, what was the big famous one that the first movie that they did? Oh shit. The Da Vinci Code? Da Vinci Code, yes. Mm-hmm. So this is the third in that Da Vinci Code series. On November 2nd, we will be... Now, there's a lot of stuff coming out on the 28th, and I wish we could get to it all. We're going to do a couple of these as the weeks go on, but there's just not a lot of room for everything coming out. There's a new helmet coming out called Dead to the World, new Crowbar, new Dope. But the one that we will be doing on November 2nd is the New Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake. Followed by, we will get around to finally reviewing the new Opeth album, Sorceress. On the 16th is our tribute to Thanksgiving. We're going to be reviewing a real turkey. It's called Anthrax, Stomp 442. And we had a change in the schedule again. Metallica pushed back their album. It's going to be a double album, so I decided to break it up into 2 parts. We're going to do the first 6 songs on the 23rd, right before the day before Thanksgiving, and then we'll finish it up on November 30th with the second set of 6 songs. I don't know who would have needed to do that, but I figured if they broke it up, why don't we should break it up too? And maybe we'll get to hear a little bit more of the Metallica songs that way. So Hardwired to Self-Destruct, parts 1 and 2, November 23rd and November 30th. And then in December 7th, that's when we're finally going to get to Helmet Built to Last. We're going to follow that up with on the 14th. Our last review of the year is Superjoint, Caught Up in the Gears of Application. Formerly known as Superjoint Ritual, now just Superjoint. And then, because Jesse Starcher wanted it, baby, we're going to do it. Our very last show of the year, the Metal Hammer of Doom Year-End Spectacular, December 21st. Jesse, give us a quick preview of what people can expect on the Year-End Spectacular.
It's a celebration. We're gonna have a good time, man. We're just gonna pick 3 of our top songs from the year that we reviewed right here on the Metal Hammer of Doom each. So Mark gets 3, I get 3, Coop gets 3, and we'll talk about stuff that happened throughout the year. I've been mulling I might have a little surprise for you guys. Just throwing that out there. Be prepared. We're going to have a good time. It's just going to be a celebration of the year. Talk about some of the fun we had. Maybe throw in a few tops or bottoms of things, such as the worst song of the year. You could probably go back a couple episodes and listen to Mark's picks already, because he decided to go ahead and make his decisions. And I think talking in UFOs.
Yeah, nothing's beating Jackal, by the way.
All right, see, there you go. And we've still got like 2 months left, and we've been going weekly. So, I mean, come on. There's got to be room for something to slide in there. You never know. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to do it. I really enjoy doing this show with you guys, and I think you guys need to celebrate yourselves every once in a while. Celebrate yourself.
All right. We're going to celebrate, dance to music, celebrate. Anyway, so then after that, we're going to take a week off, and then we'll be back in January. I don't know with what yet. I don't know what new. It's different with movies. Movies, there's like release dates like a whole year in advance. So I can tell you everything that we're doing on Damn You Hollywood and Long Road to Ruin. But with music, there's a couple of releases next year. I know, already on the calendar is a new Marilyn Manson album that's coming out on Valentine's Day, called Say 10, S-A-Y, the number 10. Get it?
No.
Get it?
No. Playing with fire.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. But I mean, I couldn't tell you anything else. I mean, there's a couple of things I saw on the calendar, but nothing that really tweaked my nipples. So we'll see as the year goes on. Normally we start off the year because there's like nothing out. We'll usually do something in January, like a retrospective or something. I'm thinking, I got to talk to these guys about it. I have some ideas of some bands I'd like to look back on. I told Jesse at some point we were going to do a Clutch, another Clutch review, but we were going to do deep cuts. So
the B-sides.
Yeah, the road less traveled. So maybe we'll put that together for January as well. We'll figure it out. But that's what's going on the next couple of months with this podcast and some of the other ones we have here on the network. So, Jesse, go ahead and do your plugs.
Sure. You can follow me at Demonarchy on Twitter if you so wish. Go give the Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like. Stay up on top of all the great podcasts that this network has to offer. We usually don't bombard you with stuff. If a show's coming up, we're going to tell you about it. Mark's gotten to be posting stuff about He-Man on there, but that's probably about the craziest thing I've ever posted while I've had the opportunity to put stuff on there. So there you go. We're not crazy. We're just going to tell you what's coming up, and that's it. Myself, I do a show on here. It's called Source Material. It's a comic book show. We talk about some of the great comic book stories that have occurred and some of the not so great ones. Right now, we are in the midst of the second part just dropped. Third part's coming up next week of Batman's Hush. So that's been a lot of fun. It was me, Ronnie Adams and my good buddy Jason Teasley, who got to discuss that one. Coming up on Halloween, I got the Halloween spot on Monday, the 31st, and it's going to be me and Gavin Napier talking about a book called Witch Doctor, which was by Image Comics, and it is some freaky deaky stuff. So if you get a chance, tune in on that one. We've already recorded it. I just got to edit it and get it up there, so keep an eye out for that. I do some stuff on the Screaming Boy podcast, which they're going to be having another episode uploaded here probably this Saturday, so kind of keep an eye out on that. My buddy Ronnie Adams over there, and Adam Runyon also. We had a fun time with Josh, like I was talking about earlier. We talked comics this last. We talked Luke Cage, and kind of got our 2 cents in on the series there. And we also talked about the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. First 5 issues there. That was a lot of fun. And that's about it. That's all I got.
Coop, hit it.
Kick out the jams, motherfucker.
Kick out the jams.
Yeah. All right. So, plugs. There's this podcast. Mark did a good job of that. So, my job is done on that one. Since I Write a Podcast, your home of all things tokusatsu. You can find us at facebook.com/Since I Write a Podcast. That is SENTAIRIDER podcast. We meant to record something Monday, but my co-host Hunter had some things, lifey things. So maybe next week. Yeah, I'm off a lot more next week, so unfortunately. 12 hours, that's all they're working me. Bastards. So, yeah, we'll do some Kamen Rider X-Aid, which is interesting and weird, but has a really catchy theme song that's not metal at all. Anyway, yeah, just give us a look. We're at like 610 likes because of South America. Yeah. Also, the WTMnet.com Wrestling to the Max Network. It's my buddy Sean Garmer and all of his podcasts that include his wrestling podcast, Wrestling to the Max, as well as video game and sports podcasts, which also are to the max. Oh, yeah. Dude usually, fucking does 4-hour shows. And they review everything. Seriously, they review New Japan, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, everything.
Yeah, shout out to him for putting my show up on the website, man. That was awesome.
Man, I love that guy. What the fuck? I thought somebody hit up. What was that?
Mark's got the guitar out.
That was a mistake on my part. Keep it going, buddy.
I thought you were trying to play me off.
Get the hook.
He's got the hook.
Oh, no. Now he's a hooker. I don't want Mark as a hooker.
No.
Oh, what would his wife say? Oh, no. Which I did that the other day, and my manager was like, "You sound like you're trying to come on to me with that."
Oh, boy.
Like you wish. Yeah, well, my manager's he's a shit talker, which is great because that gives me permission to throw it right back, which is wonderful. I love throwing shit right back at people. But anywho, for plugs, that's it. Play me out, Scat Cat.
All right, folks. This has been a presentation of the Radulich Broadcasting Network. We thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. Be well, be safe, and behave.